Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Now, it's been a minute on this channel since we've checked out some Deathcore. Can't even think how long it's been actually. But we got some stuff on the channel today. 3 nice bands to check out. Some new stuff as well. And the reason we got this stuff on the channel, he's come back again with another different project. We know this guy by a bunch of different names. Moon Devoured, Betwixt Lungs, Excreta, I think was one of them. But this one's called Entropic Gluttony. And it says here, this is his latest lyric stream, for his slam project, Entropic Gluttony. It's a cool name. This one here I do want to mention as well. It's got instrumentals by Jacob Lizotte, but the mixing is by Alex Savini. So we know this one is going to be hard and heavy. Looking forward to it. This one's called Extravasation. Let's give it a spin. Bass and noises. Crazy. Man, it's always an experience listening to these guys and the music that they make because it's so harsh and nasty. This is like the harshest sound of gutturally vocal gargling you can get. And these guys really ratchet it up as well within the mix. The way they record their vocals is really nice because you hear every last bubble of saliva in their throat and stuff like that. It really captures the sound of the guttural, and the gargle. Really, really nice. But man, it's just so harsh to listen to it. You're like, not cringing, but like grimacing, grimacing from the sound because it's just a harsh sound. But man, it sounds dope in that way as well because, you want it to be harsh. That's the thing. So man, these guys did a nice one on this one. Super heavy mix as I was expecting from Alex as well. Just heavy as hell. Really love all the extra drum stuff in there. Long ass fills and just craziness on the drums sounded great. But yeah, man, just a heavy, nasty sound that makes you just absolutely recoil away from it in a cool way. So really, really nice. I like this stuff. So there you go. Very nice. Keep sending your stuff over if you put any more stuff out. Now we're going to check out this band. We have checked these guys out before once, Despite Exile. And I looked on these guys' pages and it says here, post-deathcore from the land of pizza. Now, I think pizza was actually made in America, wasn't it? Although it's Italian. So I guess these guys are Italian. I'm not too sure about that, though, from the land of pizza. Where is that even nowadays? Could be anywhere. But this one is called Riven Mirrors. I'm interested to know what post-deathcore is going to sound like, because I think bands could only just start calling themselves post-deathcore now, because deathcore's only been a thing really for 10 years or so, I would guess. But yeah, post-deathcore could be something really nice. How I would imagine it would just be to break out into more kind of instrumental sections, bringing a emotional vibe to it in that way, maybe have some build-ups and crescendos in it, but we'll see how it goes. What post-deathcore could be anything. So as I say, this is Despite Exile with Riven Mirrors. Sick drumming. Great drumming. Yeah, these are a nice band for sure, and I'm kind of getting the idea where they're going to go in terms of calling themselves post-deathcore, and I like it a lot, very much so. Bringing in that kind of symphonic area, but more not just being symphonic, more swells and building, you know, that kind of build-up and crescendo feel that I was talking about, and bringing in more of a melodic, emotional edge within the vocal, but still heavy and screaming and shouting. It wasn't like a modern metalcore, let's break out into a singy melodic chorus type thing. It was heavy, it was deathy, but it was melodic and wide and spacious and building as well. Nice. Those are the kind of things that I was thinking about. I think it's going to evolve past that as well in the future, but that's a nice kind of step out of the deathcore mold, to start calling yourself post-deathcore and thinking outside of the deathcore box, bringing some more elements to the music, more sections, moving the tracks in different ways. I like it. It's about time deathcore did something else like that and stepped out of its mold that it's got into, because I do feel that it was stuck in a rut there for a few years, but stuck in a rut of perfection, because the reason it was stuck in a rut was because the riffs had got as heavy and as chuggy and as kind of much as you could do on one kind of fret, which a lot of these bands did. And then, you know, they exhausted all of that. The mixes got as heavy as they could. The drums got as loud and as punchy as they could within the mix. And there was really nowhere else to go with that setup. And kind of treaded water for a few years. But now I do feel, and I've been ready for kind of a year or two now, for some more kind of elements to be brought into the deathcore scene, and start thinking outside that box, doing new things with it. Very cool. We'll be keeping our eye on that band because I think they're going to be a nice band going forward. Now, I'm not sure if we've checked out this band. Excuse me. I'm not sure if we've checked out this band before or not. I think they're new to the channel. Snake Father. Their track is called Greater Evil. This is on the Slam Worldwide channel, which is going to suit us today. Let's give it a spin.
Nothing man, they can never give my voice a turn for a man, so giving from the life, I don't feel any different, and I don't think about it. You always think you're gonna try these new things, and you're gonna change.
It didn't change.
It just doesn't do anything. Like in the night, we were gonna kill a bunch of people and get a bunch of drugs and money, and nothing. It's weird.
Cool. Dope. Man, I really friggin' enjoyed that a lot. Way more than I thought I was gonna. Because it just had so much dopeness going on in it. Man, what a dope track. Loads of just bounce and groove in it. You could just really kind of pop your body with the beats and the riffs and just the groove in there. Felt really dope to move your body to. Loved all the different riffs in there. Really loved the section of doing a bendy, sexy, twiddly solo, just having a dude shout and scream over the top of it. So few bands have done that, and I look out for it. The first band I saw do it was Warforged, and I just love the idea because, you know, usually it's called a solo because the guitar just is soloing and everything else stops. I mean, the vocalist at least. But I love the idea of having a guitar solo and the dude still having a verse over the top of it. It's really cool, and so few bands have still done it. Most bands where you hear a solo still cut out the vocal on that section. I think it's really dope, and they did it in such a cool way in this one as well. And then all those extra big sections, I would say these guys are a post-deathcore band as well, because they had so much more going on. Really dope. Now, one thing I do want to mention is the mix on this one, because it was absolutely rammed up as hot, as loud as it could possibly go. And in a lot of ways, that was really cool because it made the track super heavy and loud and punchy and just hit you like a ton of bricks. But there were sections in there where it was too loud and it just totally distorted and it lost its, you know, it just fell apart at those sections. So what I would say is, if you are going to go that loud, when the sections come in, like bass drops and things like that, where it blows out the whole sound, you've got to still try and tame it at some degree. Otherwise it just falls apart because you lose, you know, all the sounds just kind of turn into distortion of not a good guitar distortion. It's just distortion of like a speaker blowing out sound, which isn't a good sound. So I would say just watch that. If you are going to ram it and be as loud as hell, just don't go over the top with it, you know, or try and keep a reins on the sections where, or the just little bits where it really just loses control, and try and keep a rein on those type of bits as well, because there was so much dopeness going on in this track that it was a bit annoying when it went too loud and distorted, that I couldn't hear the drums, I couldn't hear the guitar at that section because it just turned into distortion. So in a way it lost its edge because of that. So I'd say, you know, if go as loud as you like, but don't go too loud. And if you go too loud, kind of rein it back where it goes absolutely ridiculous. But man, what a really dope track. Great video for that one as well. Really got into it. The dude looks super hard on the mic. And I'd like to see that from a deathcore band. Dope. I think we've had 3 really nice, heavy, just blow your ear out type of bands today. Moving into this kind of post-deathcore scene as well, bringing extra elements into it that you don't always see in this kind of music as well. Dark and nasty as you expect though. And some of the sickest drumming from all 3 bands as well. Absolutely crazy, amazing drumming. And I was going to mention as well, one of the upshoots of deathcore, because a lot of people are kind of, you know, knock on deathcore, don't think it's the greatest. I've always liked it, but one of the offshoots and the real kind of positives of deathcore, I think, going forward for the whole metal scene in general, is the standard of drummers, because deathcore started out with some drummers who were pushing the limits within the studio and quantizing and speeding things up a bit and, you know, things like that. But because there was then a push for those people to play that stuff live and make videos, you know, natural videos and things like that of playing this stuff, and there was a pressure on those drummers to actually be able to play those beats then, I think a lot of drummers over the last 5 to 10 years have really got their shit together because of deathcore, because of the pressure that came with deathcore drummers to be able to play their stuff live, and are they natty or not? And I really think it's just been a positive for the whole metal drumming scene, because I say it all the time, but drummers nowadays are just so good. They sound like MIDI computer drummers because they're just that good. So I do think that is one of the upshoots of deathcore, that overall it's put a pressure on drummers to sound as good as they do on the record, or as precise and as fast as they do on the record, and that's just increased their ability because they've had that pressure on them. So there you go. Cool things happen sometimes from a lot of pressure. That's how you make diamonds. Hope you had a good day today, guys. We'll see you around tomorrow for some more cool bands. Hit that subscribe and all that jazz. We'll see you then. Bye.